Hey everybody, it's Mike with the Claim Squad Public Adjusters. We're going to be talking about the recorded statement. When an adjuster gets a hold of you and says, hey, sends you an email, calls you, we want to take a recorded statement, we're going to be talking about some of the questions you can expect and how to answer them. So my name is Mike Keeler. I'm a licensed public adjuster in the state of Florida. If you have a question on the claim, need help with the claim, this is how you can reach me, by my cell phone, email, or website. So let's briefly talk about why do they want to get a recorded statement from me? Well, it really serves one purpose. And that purpose is find a way to get out of paying your claim or find a way to minimize paying your claim. It's one of these two or a combination of both. So this is why they utilize it, to try and see if they can interpret maybe something that you're saying to see if they can deny the claim. But remember, if there are 10 commandments, the number one commandment should be, thou shalt try to find coverage for a claim. So what has been lost over the years is a foundation principle of you need to try and find coverage. That is gone. Right now, what they try and do is find a way to deny your claim, not find a way to cover your claim. So that whole fundamental thinking and purpose of an insurance policy has been gone for years now. Especially the last 5 years, it's been absolutely probably the largest percentage of claims being denied or underpaid that I've ever seen by far. So these are going to be some of the general questions, irregardless of what type of claim you have. All right. When did you buy the house? They may ask about your wind mitigation and 4-point inspection. These are going to go hand in hand. So if your house was recently bought, they might ask you for a copy of both of these. They're going to ask you about previous claims, who lives in the house, date and time of the loss, which is very important. If you have any photos, videos, or estimate from contractors, have you done any repairs, any personal property damage, and the old, well, what happened? And we're going to go through a couple other specific claims and more specifically tailored questions, but wait to the end of the video because I got some helpful tips and things you should look out for. Okay, we're going to be talking about specific roof damage claim questions when it comes to recorded statement. Now, the biggest screw up I always see is when people report a roof claim, they report a roof claim when there's no storm. Now, here in Florida, there's only two types basically of damage to your roof that's covered: wind and hail. That's predominantly what we see as coverage, okay, on your policy. So people will get a leak and they'll call it in on the date they notify or see the leak. And that creates some issues. So this is very important. Make sure you have a date, and this also coincides when you report the claim. Report the claim knowing that there was a storm. And generally 40 to 50 mile per hour winds or greater. Because the insurance company, anything less, they'll hire an engineer to say that this wind could have never done it. Anyhow, I'm getting off track. What happened? They're going to ask you what happened. Be prepared to answer that. The shortened version is this: we had a storm. Week or two later, I noticed my roof leaking. That's it. You don't have to go into a big long story. They're going to ask you, have you made any repairs to your roof recently or in the last few years? They're going to keep it open-ended. So it's up to you. So if you had your roof repaired, let's say 6 years ago, I don't think it's relevant. So I would just say, I haven't had any recent repairs. Okay? When was your wind mitigation? Here in Florida, we got to get a wind mitigation, 4-point inspection. They're going to ask that, maybe ask for a copy. When did you notice a leak? So that's going to correspond to when the date of the storm. Okay? Doesn't matter when you notice a leak. If you notice it 3 months later, that's fine because it happens. If you tend to report like a lot of windstorm events happen, usually there's a delay from when you notice leaks or damage to your roof for a lot of reasons. Nobody hops up on their roof the day after a storm. You just look around, see no leaks, you're like, oh, okay, great, thanks. No leaks. But what you don't realize is that your structure was compromised by the wind event. So yeah, it may not happen on the day of the storm or the day after or a week later, but there is data and studies that show 6 months, 9 months later. It's feasible because depending on the windstorm, it weakened the structure. They're going to ask you, how old is your roof? Okay, previous roof claims. Now, if you've moved from another house, that's perfectly fine to say. What a better answer would be, let's say 10 years ago you lived in one house and then you moved, and this new house that you bought, its roof is 20 years old. Have you had any roof claims? You answer that simply, we haven't had any roof claims on this house. We just recently moved in. They're going to ask you if you have a tarp on the roof and if you had any estimates for repairs or replacement. If you give the insurance company a repair estimate, you can rest assured that your claim probably will not get paid. So it's either got to be all or nothing, meaning full replacement or nothing. Because usually the deductibles are so high for wind that repairing, it's going to fall under the deductible. So please like this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. Okay, we're going to examine water damage claims and some of the questions. Now there's some tricky questions that they ask, not because these people are smart, but they just have a little sheet and then over time they get used to asking the same questions. But water leaks can be tricky because they're always going to try and do a time sequence. When did it happen? When did you notice a leak? How did the leak happen? You're best off answering, we're going to come back to this first one right here. So I'm going to put a little star because a question down the road here, we'll come back to this. So when did the leak, how did the leak happen? I don't know. I'm not a plumber, but from what my plumber told me, yada, yada, yada. Okay? Cracked, pinhole cracked, leaked, broke, whatever. What was damaged? The way you answer this is, I haven't determined, or my contractor hasn't determined, or we haven't determined all the damages yet, but there's a couple rooms, the hallway, the bathroom, and the master bedroom for now. All right? Or you can simply say, I'm not really sure. We've got to evaluate everything because, and this is a key phrase if you want to throw it in there, water damage is sometimes visible and not visible. So we've got to have the proper test done to see if there's damage from water that's not visible. All right? Had the leak been going on for a long time? Now let's circle back up to this first question. This is where things get tricky. And let's also combine it with this question. Had the leak been going on longer for a few days? You might get one of these two questions thrown in the recorded statement. Okay? More than likely, one of these two. So in your policy it has, I mean, of course I got this memorized, repeated or constant seepage or leakage is not covered. AKA, what does that mean? Long term. So you're best off answering if it was something that has been relatively recent, that no, this just happened the other day. We just noticed it a couple days ago. If you live in Florida and there's mold, it's not uncommon for a day or two, there's a leak and mold develops. What they'll try and do is hopefully you say, you know what, I'm not really sure how long, but it was there for a while. And then they're going to try and maybe, if it's a smart claim adjuster, which there's not many, so you should be okay there. But if you happen to get the unicorn adjuster that's smart enough to figure this out, they're going to ask you, well, if I was the adjuster, this is what I would ask. Well, is it greater than 21 days? No. Less than 21? Yeah. Then I would go, okay, what about between 14 and 21 days? Like, I'm trying to get you pinned into a certain day range so I could go back to my insurance company bigwigs, my manager, say, guess what? We got this person. We can deny their claim. They said it was 10 days ago. So that's some of the tricks that they use. So you always got to be careful with the time sequence. They're going to ask you, why did you call the water mitigation company? Well, here's your easy answer. The water damage was bad. Did you do any remodeling in the last couple of years? They're going to ask that question. Did you replace any of pipes? Have you had any plumbing issues? How did you find your plumber? So what they're trying to do if you had any plumbing issues is to see that it's been a long-term problem. Comes right back to the time thing. Now, they won't ever know. So let's just say that you had a pipe in your bathroom replaced 4 years ago. It cracked or something happened, right? You had ABC Plumbing come in. There's no record of ABC Plumbing coming in. So I don't think it's even relevant. But they'll try to make it relevant. So it's up to you if you want to tell the insurance company, I don't think there's any relevance, and you could just, there's no need to tell them that. It's a completely separate issue. So no, you haven't had any plumbing issues, okay? That was 4 years ago. So there's no reason to bring something up 4, 7, 10. This is what the insurance company's trying to do, is bait you into this. So here's some of the other helpful hints that's going to help you. You want to use I don't know or I don't remember as your safe phrase, your safe place, okay? This is something you can fall on if you think that the question may inspire an answer that you don't want to give or you think may hurt your claim. Fall back on that, okay? Here's a strategy they use. It's called the what happened next strategy by the insurance company. This is key. So let me paraphrase this for you. So they'll ask open-ended, and remember, we're going to come back to this, but let me incorporate this right now. Keep answers short. Keep it simple. Don't give too much information. Okay? So let's bring these two into this. What happened? Let's say I had a leak in my bathroom. And the adjuster says, okay, Mr. Mike, tell me what happened. This is exactly how I answer it. I had a leak in the bathroom. What happened next? Called water mitigation. What happened next? Called the insurance company. What happened next? I haven't got paid for my claim yet. That's how you answer that. And if even he keeps on it. So the what happened next is their strategy to keep on trying to get you talking. They want to find, okay, well, what happened next? Well, I called the plumber or the city, and the plumber said he wasn't sure if it was something that was damaged previously or something that had been there for a long time, or the plumber is maybe saying it could be wear and tear of the pipe. Now see, all that seems harmless except for the wear and tear of the pipe portion. Now your claim gets denied. So the what happened next strategy, this is so important, I'm going to go through it one more time. Okay, Mr. Mike, this is Leo with ABC Insurance. We're going to do a recorded statement, go through the basics. Let me ask you, what happened? I had a water leak in the bathroom. What was and what happened next? Well, my house got damaged. What happened next? Called the insurance company. Okay, Mike, what happened next? I called water mitigation. What happened next? There hasn't been anything happening next. You haven't paid my claim. That's it. That's where you end it. Because they're going to keep on going. See how I kept everything very short? That's how you do it. Okay? Now, if you read this right here, let me put this in a different color. Limit using other people's names. Don't bring your ma, don't bring your dad, don't bring your girlfriend, ex-wife. When they tell you, let me give you a prime example. Let's go back to the questions. Okay, Mike, let me ask you, who was there when everything happened? Nobody. Nobody else saw what happened? No. I was just there by myself. That's it. Okay. Did anybody help you clean it? No. No need to throw in all these other people. Don't bring anybody else involved. Keep it to you. You know, obviously, if you have a husband or wife, you even try to leave them out of it. All right, children, leave them out of it. Any whys should be answered with, I'm not sure or no reason. Why did you call a plumber? Well, I'm not sure, but there was water damage, so I figured I'd call a plumber, right? Why did you call a water mitigation company? Well, I think there was water damage. I wasn't sure, so I called the water mitigation company. Okay. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you get a contractor? I'm not sure. I didn't know if I should call a contractor. That's it. Okay, so let's wrap this up now. What's funny is some of my videos, since we're talking about insurance adjusters on this particular video, a lot of my videos I'll see comments that, oh, you public adjusters, you're the reasons why insurance companies are leaving Florida. There's so few of us. There's not many public adjusters. If whatever state you're in, other than Florida and Texas, which actually Florida has the most, there's very few public adjusters in every state. We are not the reason for the demise of the insurance company. The insurance company is the reason why they are going through tough times and responsible for their own demise. But I get these comments, and they're hilarious, about how we represent people with fraudulent roof claims and how we fraudulently do this and how public adjusters are not worth anything and we're the scum of the earth. I mean, and I laugh and I always write back, dear Mr. Insurance Adjuster, thank you for your comment. Thankfully, and thank you to you, because if it wasn't for people like you, I wouldn't have a job fighting for people to get their claim paid that you guys either underpaid or refuse to pay. So I get a kick out of it. It's good fun to me, because these guys end up being so brainwashed in the school of the claims and how not to pay, that when they pay a claim, they get ticked off by it. And they get ticked off when people try to help other people like me. So if they request a recorded statement, ignore their request a few times. Let them keep on asking for it. Sometimes they'll forget. A lot of people work, so tell them you work during the day. You can't be bothered. Tell them you'll talk with them between 8 and 10 p.m. Now, they're going to reply back saying, well, you have to do it during business hours. There's absolutely nothing in the policy, and any policy I've ever seen in my whole life, saying you have to do it during business hours. Listen, you work, okay? 8 to 10 p.m. The only thing that's in their policy, somewhat similar, is that they have a right to take your recorded statement, and you have to agree underneath the policy conditions. They have a right to inspect your home as many times as they request, and they can do as many EUOs, examination under oath, which is like a deposition, as many times as they want. Now, it doesn't give the times, okay? You won't ever see a policy saying you have to do a recorded statement between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. No, because they know that stuff would never hold up on the legal face if somebody were to fight that in the court systems, all right? Keep your answers sweet and short during recorded statements, that I've touched on a few times. And listen, they can, and they do, pay claims without recorded statements 90% of the time. So the old, well, we can't pay your claim unless we get your recorded statement, is a bunch of bull crap. Yes, they can. They do it all the time. The majority, 99% of my clients won't ever go through a recorded statement. I prevent that from happening. And I hope this video was helpful for those of you who might be going underneath a recorded statement, or if the situation ever comes up about a recorded statement. So again, my name is Mike Keeler. I'm a licensed public adjuster in the state of Florida. Here is my cell phone, email, website. Have any questions on a claim, need help with a claim, this is how you can get a hold of me. Hope you enjoy the video.